American Horror Story Episode 3, The Drive-In. This one was pretty decent. I really enjoyed 1 and 2. Not as much as this one, that's 3, but it was pretty decent. It starts off with this boy. He wants to pretty much try and score with this girl at his high school. He invites her over. He pretty much tries to score with her, but he was unsuccessful at doing so. So he tells his friends, and they pretty much tell him, well, if you really want to score with a girl, the only way to do so is with fear. In other words, having the girl scared, and that'll make her want to have sex with him. So while they're telling him this, they also mention that there's this movie coming out, and it came out a while back, long time ago, back in the 80s, 86, where it's pretty much the scariest movie of all time because it actually took place in real life. Like, it started to come to life in the actual theater. But this time it's going to be shown at a drive-in, and it's like a one-time thing, and he should take his girl there, and she'll be scared, and she'll want to make out with him at the drive-in. He finds it pretty interesting. He goes back home and does some research on it, trying to find out it was true. The director, he had his movie played at some theater, and people really started going crazy in the theater and doing all kinds of crazy things to each other. But his movie got banned from playing it all over the place at different theaters. Fast forward 20 years later, he tried to get his movie played again, and I guess these drive-ins, they end up taking his movie in. After he does his research, he goes back to school, and he invites his girlfriend to a date to go to the drive-in. So him and his friends are going, and then her friend's also going as well. They go to the drive-in, and, well, first off, none of them really believed it, of course. That's why they're going there. And they're like, so what? Even if it is true. Like, I'd have been like, nope. They go to the drive-in, and they see all their friends. They get their little snacks. The movie starts to play, but before it starts to play, one of his friends is already getting oral sex, and he is making out with his girlfriend, so they're not actually looking at the movie. You have to look at the movie in order for it to, like, get you. So once you start looking at the movie, it starts to, like, get into your brain, and you start, like, transforming to some weird crazy zombie and start killing whoever's around you and doing all kinds of weird things. So one of his friends is already getting oral sex, so he has his eyes closed, and the other person is down there. But while they're down there, when they pop their head up, they're looking at the movie, so they're still getting a glimpse of the movie while they're performing the oral sex on them. The movie gets to that person, and he ends up biting his private part. And everybody pretty much gets infected from watching this movie. And so while he's making out with his girlfriend, they hear all these crazy noises. They can't really see outside of the car because it's all foggy in there. So they wipe the window down to see what's going on, and they see all kinds of crazy stuff happening outside. And some guy busts through their window trying to attack them. So she gets in the driver's seat and starts the car, and they just started to drive off to the concession stand. And they run up in there where the film has been played, and they lock themselves in the room, and they turn the film off, like, by breaking it or whatever. So they stay there overnight, and they try to figure out what they're going to do, because also their friend mentioned that another one was going to be taking place the next day. At that night, another filming was going to be showing. They said they needed to find the director, or the person that made the movie, and try to just kill him, or do what they can to get their hands on the tape so it's not going to be played again. So they get out of there, and they find the person that made the tape. He's like somewhere off in the desert in a trailer. When they confront him, he goes on this long spiel about how his idea is so great, and how much of a genius he is, and he done made it in film history, and he should be getting all these rewards because he put all kinds of different little knickknacks into his film to where it can affect the mind while you're watching it. And nobody's ever done that before. Except for, he said, this other movie called Poltergeist, they done something to it to where people started doing something, but not to the effect of what his film can do. So he's saying he should get all these rewards and stuff and recognition, because he's a genius for making this great film that makes you kill yourself and kill other people. So they're like, oh hell no. And he's telling them that the girl and the boy, he's telling them that they can be paid, and because they're the only two survivors pretty much from that film. So, but nobody would believe them anyway, probably. So anyway, they end up shooting him and setting his trailer on fire while he's in it. They also destroyed his tapes because they were asking, where's your original at? Where is it at? So he ended up telling them before they killed him, and they ended up destroying that as well. So they assume that everything is destroyed now, so they just go back home. And they ended up having sex, which is what the boy wanted all along from his girlfriend. So while they're having sex, though, first it shows their computer showing Netflix is actually airing it. It's airing the damn film. So it was playing on Netflix that night. So then it goes outside, showing the outside window, showing what's happening outside. It's a lot of chaos, fire, explosions, and stuff like that from people obviously watching it on Netflix. And then it ends. They tried, though. They did try to stop the film from being aired that night, because one of his friends said it was going to be aired somewhere else, but they didn't know exactly where. But they were just hoping once they get a hold of those tapes, it won't be played. But unfortunately, it was playing on Netflix. So all those people that were watching Netflix got affected that night. That was episode 3. So yeah, it's pretty decent. Let me know what you think in the comments. Stay tuned for the next episode.